Africa is of a better time frame to do remote work than even India.
I have a student who's earning $6,000 based in Douala. We have students who have picked up job in Paris. The first challenge which they have is equipment. There's a young lady who connected from Betua in Cameroon. And someday I was like, can you share your screen? And she said, oh, I don't have a laptop. I'm using a phone. You give a guy in Africa a laptop, give him fast internet, he'll deliver and he'll deliver very well.
Yeah. All right, everyone, welcome back to SecureAfric. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Darren, and here we explore digital trends, cybersecurity, tech talent development, startups, and entrepreneurship in a way that's simple, practical, and reflect our everyday African experience. We also shed a spotlight on African talent, tech talent, entrepreneurs, and innovative solutions, making an impact across the continent and, of course, all around the world. Our guest today is a tech philanthropist, a leader in empowering youth across Africa through technology. He is the founder of Cloud Heroes Africa, an initiative that is aimed at developing Africa's cloud computing talent and opening pathways for meaningful opportunities all around the world and, of course, in the African continent. Mr. Samoa, welcome to SecureAfric, and thank you for accepting to come here today and share your journey with us and the impactful work that you have been doing all across the continent. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Renee. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that you're taking time to educate people, to spread the word about tech. And I'm also happy that you have a passion for Africa. That's something very dear to my heart. I hope you don't mind that I'm on your podcast and I'm at the same time I'm multitasking on my treadmill. Is that okay?
No,
with you?
that's completely fine. We feel free here, and yeah, of course, it's good to keep healthy, you know.
Okay. I know.
Yeah, right.
Talking about health in the tech sector, a lot of people. I mean, that's a different topic on its own because of remote work. People are used to sitting, and it comes with health challenges at the end of the day. So I just thought that we have to. I can stand the whole shift and as well on my treadmill. And I love it. I enjoy it because the body is created to move, and with the tech mind, with the codes we are writing, with the projects we are leading, we need to move. We need to stay healthy, and we need to be very agile so that we can keep going.
That's really important, and that's true, right? We need to keep that cardio. We need to get those minutes for the week, for the day, and make sure that we are staying healthy to be able to do what we're doing, and what we're doing is important, right? So, thank you very much for joining us today. I think this is going to be an interesting episode here. So, it would be an obvious question, right? Like, what was the inspiration? Where is the inspiration from for Cloud Heroes Africa? Well, how did it start?
Cloud Heroes Africa started as a study group, as a tech study group in 2021. At that time, AWS was, they were crazy about certifications, and they were giving out free vouchers for people based in Africa to study and take the initial AWS certification, which is called Cloud Practitioner Certification. I think it's the basic, very, very basic certifications which AWS offers. So they were giving out vouchers for free for students. And then I started sharing to my family and friends and said, hey, you go find some time, read this and get certified. AWS is about to invest in Africa and they're looking for talent. So one of my sisters, who happens to be a Reverend Sister Jane, she knows a lot of young people in Cameroon. So she created a WhatsApp group and added people and say, you guys go get certified, go and go read and take this voucher. And then she pulled me because she of course, she's a religious person.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, you gave me this thing. I don't know anything about it. Can I add you to the group to talk? And I was like, oh, let me jump onto it. And I got in there and I found out that a lot of young people, a lot of smart people in Cameroon, not only in Cameroon, some are in Nigeria, they were interested in cloud computing and they wanted to take the certification. So I joined the group. I started answering their questions, and the group just became bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how Cloud Heroes Africa was born.
Wow, that was really you see how these things start. It's not like bringing these young people together, and you can see the passion that they have for technology, and particularly cloud
Yeah.
computing. And that was going to be
Yep.
my next question to you, which was going to be like, what was then? What was it about just cloud computing and not going to talk about other things that are on premises, or what was it all about the cloud, right? And what
Yeah.
what opportunities do you see for the African youth when it comes to cloud computing?
Oh, that's very interesting. Cloud computing after COVID, a lot changed in the tech sector. Um, Companies were moving their data and their resources from on-prem to the cloud, and they needed people who had skills in cloud technology. They needed people who could run resources, who could help in their migration journey. And there was so much talk about cloud, and AWS was leading. And by the way, do you know that AWS was created in South Africa?
Oh, I didn't read that part yet.
Yeah, that's where AWS started. I
Wow.
mean, they started the reflections and the thoughts about the thought process. All the engineering happened in South Africa, and then before it moved abroad, of course, because of the tech power
Yes, yes.
house in America and
Yeah.
Canada. But it all started in Africa, and they have a region in South Africa.
Yeah, I know they have a
So
region there.
cloud computing, um, right till now, is the talk of the day because enterprises have realized, tech companies have realized that having data in the cloud is cheaper than having it on-prem.
Save a lot of costs, huh?
And when it is in the cloud, yeah, for disaster recovery, they have regions with AWS. I mean, I don't work for AWS, but I tend to to use AWS a lot. With AWS having regions in America, having regions in Asia, Europe, Africa. I think there's a region that is about to be created in Nigeria. I have to read that
That's
again.
important.
But with having all of this disaster recovery, having their data across regions, it helps companies, and then the cost of keeping data
And
is cheaper
and hosting
because don't
applications
forget,
infrastructure becomes
yes,
easier for them, huh?
yes, it's easier, and scalability as well. Security is guaranteed because AWS with their security model, security and AWS is in charge of security of the cloud, and the client is in charge of security in the cloud.
Yeah.
So that gave cloud computing some urge, some leverage, and businesses are finding that the applications are running faster. The scalability is there, performance, and and performance efficiency. So cloud computing has really, really opened doors for many people, especially the young people in Africa.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting, and that probably should open up a lot of, like we have been saying, a lot of opportunities for a lot of young talents in Africa when it comes to technology. Yeah,
Correct.
but when
Correct.
you look at African youths and the talents that we have there, what could you say are the parts or the cloud parts that are most promising for young Africans or for Africans today?
I would say serverless computing. I would say those who are in data, and of course we know they talk about AI now. Everybody is has come to help automate. AI has come to make things work easier. So I would say the path that is easier for people in Africa, AI. I would start with AI because everybody now is using AI to do things which we could do manually.
Helping a lot of
Um,
automation now and helping businesses. Yeah.
Helping a lot of
Yeah.
automation and migration as well. Those who can, because a lot of companies in Africa, unfortunately, are still running their businesses and their resources on-prem. So those who learn and have the migration skills and learn how to migrate resources from on-prem to the cloud will have an advantage over those who don't know at all. So cloud computing as a whole, but in general, if you know the cloud, if you know how to run resources, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
No, thank you for that. We're going to sometime during our conversation today. We should talk about how they can get access to resources that can help them get these skills. But During my research and looking at this topic that we're discussing today, I found it's interesting that majority of the cloud service providers have concentrated their data centers in just a few African countries, for example, in Kenya, in Nigeria, and in South Africa. Um, what does this tell us about the current state of cloud adoption and usage across the continent in general? And is this something that is a reflection point on the talent and on how we can train or talk about the various pathways that talent in Africa have to concentrate on?
I think the answer to that is has a lot of I could say there's a reason for that. You hear and politics might come in because and the vision of these countries that are English speaking and the regulations, infrastructure too. You look at talking about internet. You look about the political atmosphere. Why AWS, Google, Azure, all of these people will decide to put to invest in a particular country in Africa. It would be because of if it's not safe, if they don't have stable electricity, if they don't have a government that can promote businesses, if they don't have a government that is fair, they might tend to shy away. But I think when it comes to talent, of course, South Africa is they have good
Yeah,
schools.
yeah.
When you talk about Ghana, most European and American schools tend to give a lot of support to them. But and most francophone African countries like Senegal, Cameroon, Mali, the business atmosphere is and the tech atmosphere is still very very timid. But I'm very sure that with remote work, don't forget, companies abroad they're looking for where labor is cheap, and the sweetest thing about Africa and African youth is geographically we have the advantage. Because if you have a resource that is based, for instance, in India and another one that is based in Africa, it's easier and cheaper to get the one in Africa because if you clock in at work at 9 a.m. in New York, the guy in Cameroon, for instance, can clock at maybe 3 p.m. and you guys can work at the same time. So there's hope. There's potential, and our guys are right now learning a lot of stuff. When we look at Cloud Heroes Africa, we have students in Nigeria, lots of students in Nigeria. We have students in Douala, Cameroon. We have students in Ghana. So there's a lot of enthusiasm about tech, and it all is because of the advent of remote work.
And
With
you're
remote
right.
work,
And so when we look at what India is doing, right, the amount of tech
yeah,
talent that is coming out of India, and the amount of remote work that the Western world is hiring and working remotely from India, we can. These are such initiatives that can bridge that gap between those type of
yep,
remote work and Africa, right? If we can get our African
yeah.
talent and get our act together, we can potentially we do have the talent. It's not like we don't have. We have the talent. Is
Trust
there.
me.
I
Yeah,
so I think bringing something like this and being able to train our talent and giving them those skills
yeah,
would be able to open them markets not only across Africa. I think it could open them globally too. And like we said, and the time
correct,
frame
correct.
also. I even think that Africa is of a better time frame to do remote
Yep,
work than even India. The time difference is probably better.
absolutely, absolutely. When we have some of our students who have happened to have pick up jobs uh, here in America, but they're based in Douala, some are in Bamenda,
Wow.
and they have their bosses in Florida,
Wow.
and they're working so well. I have tech leaders who have called me and said, "My goodness, we didn't know about Africa. Like these guys are committed to their work. These guys are committed to. They have a passion for code. They have a passion for excellence, and they deliver on time. So that geographical location is a plus for
Yeah.
us. Because you want to have a boss when it's a stand-up meeting in the morning, he's talking live, whereas someone in India, I mean, no bias against India, you have to wait, or you have to wait till 11 p.m.
For them
Californian
to
time to
show up.
talk to somebody in India, or they deliver work in your absence. But if you hire someone from Africa, you are at work at 9 a.m. It's 3 p.m. for him, and you guys can converse, and they can work till 10 p.m. and you will not have any
And
issues.
we all, and also we all know that, I mean, in terms of, just in addition to that, in terms of having the resources and saving the company some resources, Africa is also, I mean, in terms of it's, I know the labor is going to be relatively cheaper, and so it's a great way. And this initiative that you are undertaking.
Labor is going to be cheap. Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting. Cheaper and of great quality. Our guys are smart.
Yeah.
Trust me. African youths are smart. Very, very smart. They just lack the opportunities. They just lack the infrastructure in terms of internet, and that like internet, and that is not anything of their making. But they just lack. If they have the basics, if you give a guy in Africa a laptop, give him fast internet, give him the right space, he will deliver, and he will deliver very
Yeah,
well.
and I was going to talk to you about that, about the challenges that you face. What are some of the challenges that your students or people that are enrolled, these youths that are enrolled in your program? What are some of the challenges that they face in terms of coming up with being able to attend the program?
Thank you. When we started Cloud Heroes Africa, our goal was success is not comfortable, because I and the members on the board, I want to make a shout out to all the board members of Cloud Heroes Africa. We let them know that it was not going to be a bed of roses. Let them know that it's going to be challenging, and that's why we said to be successful, you have to step out of their comfort
Of
zone.
course.
The first challenge which they have is equipment. Most of them don't have laptops, which is a very big. You cannot be in
Yeah.
tech without a laptop. I have had to cry because you see a very brilliant student. There's a young lady who connected from Betua in Cameroon, and this girl used to ask very, 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 very smart questions. And someday I was like, okay, can you share your screen? And she said, oh, I don't have a laptop. I'm using a phone.
Wow.
And I felt heartbroken. And this girl could play with Terraform. This girl could talk cloud computing, the advantages of cloud computing, could talk about the various services of AWS. But how do you get into tech if you don't have a laptop, a basic laptop? I cried. Oh my, these children need resources. The second challenge they have is internet.
Yeah.
Internet is a problem. Internet access to internet is still very, very.
It's a major issue.
I think it's a brief. Yeah, it's a major issue, and at times we have classes, and then they are kicked out of the Zoom because of lack of internet. At times they cannot run code. At times they have a project, because what we do is we encourage them to be hands-on. Okay, we take, like, for instance, AWS. We teach them how to build resources on the AWS cloud, on the AWS management console, and then they can use it. They can use Terraform or CloudFormation infrastructure as code. So, but then if you don't have good internet, it's going to be hard for you to deliver. So that's the second challenge. And the third challenge they have is electricity is not stable at all.
Yeah, access to power is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, access to power. Yeah. So those are some of the challenges, and it really, you see, I'm breathing hard because I know that we have talent. I know that we have kids who just want to work, who just want to study and make a living for themselves, who just want to learn, who just want to fit into the world too, who just want to write their names in the tech space, in the global tech space, but then they cannot do it because of some of these challenges.
Yeah, and when you hear, when we have organizations like yours that are trying to give this impact back home, or give back to the youths and to this tech talent, but then these type of resources are not there, or this type of basic resources are not there for them to utilize, like the internet and access to power, and even getting access to equipment, it becomes a really, really challenging environment for you to provide the services that you are capable of providing. Because at the end of the day, organizations like yours cannot do all. But that leads me to one of the questions here. How do you think that the African governments can help when it comes to situations like this?
That's a very, very good question, because we have started to talk with some people in power. And Africa has to understand that we have come to the place where we cannot depend just on natural resources to bring in income. So it's a very interesting question which you have asked. They have to be able to provide uh, to provide resources like laptops for students. They have to reduce taxation. I mean, again, I don't want to advertise tech company, internet providers like MTN and Camtel, but they have to encourage them or hold them accountable and make sure that they have that these providers are giving out rapid and high speed internet connections, stable and high speed internet connection to students. And then another one is like if you look at Boya, for instance, with the Silicon Mountain. Have you heard of the Silicon Mountain in
Yeah. I've
Boya?
heard of that. I heard of that. That's yeah.
There's a
In the
lot
Cameroon
of tech
Southwest
guys.
region,
There's
right?
some of them. Yeah, in Southwest region in
Yeah.
Cameroon. Some of them do not have access to laptop. Some of them do not have access to internet, but they are very, very smart. So the African governments have to understand that when kids sit in Africa, pick up jobs from abroad, and they pay them in dollars, is the GDP of the country that increases. If you look at India,
Yeah.
India, if you look
It's a
at the
shining
amount of
example.
tech,
It's a shining example to
it's a
Africa,
shining
right?
example.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, India doesn't care about raw materials, but Google, all the fan companies, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, all of them have a heavy presence in India. And that's a lot of money when you hire students and keep them there, because that's some of our challenges, because some of our students, once they get trained, companies want to pick them up.
Yeah.
But our long-term goal is to have them do the work there, build startup companies so that the economy can be booming. So it's a time for African companies to partner with us and say, hey, we're going to provide 300 laptops. We're going to talk to MTN to give you guys, some of your guys, free internet. We are going to help Starlink, and make them, let it be accessible to everyone so that students can set up centers, they can build companies, take jobs from America, do that in Africa, take jobs from Europe, work on those tax and projects in Africa, and money will get into Africa.
And the
It
quality,
improves the balance of payment. Yeah.
the quality is there, so and the skills are there, so why not? So yeah, that's true. And let's hope that maybe if some of the big government officials or people with power and influence can have
Yeah.
access to our episode, they may rethink, and I would doubt that they don't know. I think they know all this, but I
Yeah.
mean, when you say it many times, maybe it can make an impact. But let's go back a little
Yeah.
bit to talking about Cloud Heroes Africa, a little bit about you guys. What kind of programs do you guys actually offer? How often do you find or start programs, and how do you find talents for your programs, or how do students get enrolled?
Okay, I'll start by telling you by talking about the motto. Our goal was to create a platform where young people could come and study for free, learn, hold each other's hands, grow, and then if they get jobs, they come and give back.
Yeah.
So that was our goal. Just give them the resources, because it's difficult. Like I know you're a tech. You teach tech. It's hard to you cannot ask a student to pay tuition of $4,000, $3,500 in Africa. That would be a lot.
Yeah.
So our goal was just to find people who will volunteer, give in 1 hour, 2 hours of their time, 3 hours a month, 4 hours a month, train these people, give them projects to work on, look at their resumes, coach them on how to get jobs, and then once they have jobs, they could come back and share their resources with these students. So we have a beginners program, and it runs for 3 months, and our goal is to have our students lead all of these beginners program. So when you do 3 months, you pass the cloud practitioners certificate. Then you can go to the intermediate group where you start building real world projects. And we've had students who have built projects just like that, and they got jobs based on what they did as a
That's
team.
nice. That's nice.
So,
Nice to hear.
yeah. Yeah.
So the cloud practitioner certification, once they get as for entry level students, that's their benchmark
Yeah.
to move to the more advanced
To the
stages of
intermediate
the
group.
programs.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
about the platform? Is it when we're talking about the cloud platforms that you guys are more using or training students on?
Yeah.
Is it just a matter of just AWS, or do we do Google Cloud and Oracle Cloud and all the other ones?
We That's a good one. We are looking at
Mm-hmm.
expanding, and because we focus on cloud, AWS cloud, because AWS carries the day. AWS has a large market share, so we focus on AWS for a start. But we have had students teach Linux. We have had students and volunteers teach agile project management. And don't forget, that's a very, very key part of the software development lifecycle, agile project
Yep,
management.
yep, yep.
I think our goal is to find more project managers, because there are people in the diaspora, in the African diaspora, who want to start projects in Cameroon, but they don't have the young people with the skill sets to lead. So we want to find more volunteers who will teach them agile project management so that they can lead projects, and we teach them for free. So we're not going to limit ourselves on just on cloud computing. We're going to teach other aspects of tech, like AI, that is coming up very rapidly now, because AI is going to be the next
Yeah,
thing. It is already the next
yeah,
thing.
that's right.
It's already, we are looking
It's
for
growing
professionals
fast.
in the cyber security world who can come and talk about and teach cyber security, because as we migrate resources to the cloud, we need to secure them, and that's your field of
Yeah,
expertise.
let's talk
So we're
about that
looking for people
offline.
to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we're not going to limit ourselves in cloud. We're going to teach database administration as well. We're going to teach anything that has to do with tech, and above all, agile project management, with the goal of giving them the skills to manage projects from initiation to completion, and at the same time helping them to stay in Cameroon, because our guys who have been trained, or most of them have moved out of the country. Companies just keep hiring them like that.
Well, but
We
but
want
but
them to
but
stay in
but
Cameroon.
that's nice,
Yeah,
right? That's nice that
yeah,
if there is a way for them to move out of the country, if they are able to move out, and
yeah,
that shows the
yeah,
value that organization places on their skills, right? And
yeah,
also,
yeah.
I wanted also to since we're talking about students and their student outcomes. So roughly, how many students do you think that the program have trained so far, and how many of
Oh,
them are currently working? If I don't know if you have the number of it though.
I will not give you a straight number upfront, because we have a platform like on Telegram platform. We have over 1,000 students there. But right now, we have students who have picked up jobs in the USA. We have students who have picked up job in Paris. We have students who have moved to Belgium. We have students who have gone to Canada. We have students who are still in Douala, Yaoundé, and still working, and some in Lagos, some in Abuja, who have picked up jobs thanks to our training. And we keep going, we keep going. Again,
Yeah.
the challenge we face, the number one challenge we face is is getting them to come back and teach others,
Okay.
because yeah, yeah,
All right. Yeah, yeah. And I think they should it should be but good to give back. Maybe they are still finding their ways, and I hopefully they can come back and also share their knowledge and give back to where they got from.
yeah,
That would be really
yeah,
interesting, right? So
yeah.
for the students that are not yet working, right? Those who have completed the programs and are not yet working, how are they staying relevant? How do we find, is there a way to find them internships or to find them some projects that they're working on to keep their skills and to keep staying relevant and updating their skills? We know information technology is something that evolves every day, right?
Evolves.
So you need to keep your skills alive. So how are you managing that?
So we like I said before, we make sure that they get their hands dirty on projects. So right now, the intermediate and advanced groups, they have a project they are working on, and they put that on their GitHub. So we make them, they meet every day. I live in California, and by the time I get up at 3 a.m., they are already in class. 3 a.m. California time, they are already in class. So they meet for 2 hours every day. They use Canva, to share the task, just like they were in at the workplace, using Jira and Confluence and all that. We teach them all that, so they stay relevant. And we just got some help from Microsoft. They gave us over 300. We're going to have 300 accounts on that Microsoft
That's
365.
nice.
So
That's great.
yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to keep them busy with projects. If Microsoft started to look at us, then we know that there's something that's coming in the background. And I must say, we are encouraging them. We give, like, AWS has what they call the Skills Builder platform, where they have projects and workshops where they can go. And some of our students have been invited to the AWS reInvent
Wow.
in Las
Wow.
Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we know with tech is what can you do. Like I tell them, whatever you're building in tech, if you cannot help a company make money or reduce cost, you're not solving a
Yeah.
problem. When I come to talk to them, I bring to motivate and tell them, whatever code you're writing, whatever you're doing in the cloud space, whatever you're doing in the database management space, if you cannot figure out how to help a company make money, if you cannot figure out how to make a company reduce cost, then you're not creating value. So we want to make them, we want to get their hands dirty every day, build projects. We send them what is coming in AWS, and so that they can stay relevant. Yeah, and thank you for that
No,
question.
no, you're good, and I'm really happy about the news about Microsoft. That's really good. It's good that you have gotten to a place where you can at least partner with Microsoft and you can get some help to help relieve some of the resource needs that the students can use and help themselves. And we have been talking about the challenges that you have been facing in this environment. And I know that a lot of young people need support when it comes to tech, and they need a lot of resources. So even you setting up this organization, we haven't spoken yet on how you find the resources to help them, right? I know you spoke about certifications. I would imagine that it will be a challenge for students across Africa sometimes to get the amount of money, maybe some money to register for exams and all that, because they are pretty expensive when you convert them to local currencies. So how has the journey in regards to that been, and for you finding the resources that you need on your own part to support these students?
Thank you so much. I think God has blessed me with the ability to know a lot of people. The first thing is I reach out to people in the tech world and say, hey, bro, hey, sis, do you have 2 hours to spare this weekend to mentor or teach a course? And I have been able to do that a couple of times. And above all, we have one of our greatest board members, Chris. He's the chief of operations. He is super available. He leads the teaching. He leads the work. The how can I call it, like the curriculum. So he's very, very available.
That's good.
And he has his network of friends as well. But like I tell my students, the easiest thing I can give you guys is money.
Yeah.
Like somebody just say, "Oh, I'll just give you and walk my way." The most important thing which I can give to you is my time.
That's true.
Like right now, this weekend, I have like 3 people on my calendar, and I have to dedicate like 40 minutes each for them. That's the most important thing.
Knowledge is key.
To talk to them. Yeah, they will share what they have been doing, share their plans with me, share what they have been doing, and then I can coach them on how to take interviews, how to brand themselves, because it's not enough to learn. You have to know how to sell yourself. If you don't know how to market yourself, nobody's gonna buy you.
So at the end of the day, you have to share your skills, what you have learned, and be able to tell an employer what you are capable of doing and the skills that you have acquired, right? Because if not, they would not know what you have. So it's important to train them for those interviews, and that's really nice. It's nice of you.
So and I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about these students of Cloud Heroes Africa. Let me tell you a funny story. I went to Ross to buy something, and then I was on the line in the queue. And then the teller was talking about tech. I said, hey, are you into tech? She said, yes. Oh, I've been having some challenges. I need someone to help me. I said, okay, don't worry. I'm just going to connect you. And that's how, just like that, I just met that lady.
Wow.
And that's how I connected her with one of our students. She's here in California. And they work together. And, so
that's a lifesaver. You just solve our problems.
I just solved her problem, and she's
Wow,
so happy.
that's nice.
She's so happy. So wherever I go, I try to create the connection. I try to find resources because there are resources, and that's why one of the reasons we applied for a 501c status for Cloud Heroes Africa, where people can come. Maybe if they donate something, we can give them a tax write-off. That way, we can use the resources to help our students. So there's hope. We'll keep going.
Yeah, that's really good, and thank you for that. And when you give this type of when you give back to the community, and when you, like you said, when you go outside, when you are passionate about something, you go outside, you talk about it. Look at how you help the lady when in the store, right? You would not know that you were going to meet somebody there, and that's the same way that you can see somebody that could probably be able to help donate some resources that can go a long way to help the
Yep.
students in that Cloud
Yep.
Heroes Africa. So that's really important. Another question that I wanted to
Thank you.
ask, and making sure that I don't miss that, was like, when you look at your student pool, like in terms of African countries, what is the share? Like, is it like a lot of students from South Africa, from Cameroon, from Nigeria, Kenya, and all that, or are they just scattered all over the continent?
I know we our I mean, of course, charity begins at
Yeah.
home. We have most of our students are from Cameroon, because that's it's easier for us to communicate with them. It's easier for us to have access to them. And then we have students in Nigeria. Nigeria is taking the lead. Ghana. We have a few students in Angola.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, we have few students in Angola. And our goal, again, like our goal is for us to leave the management of Cloud Heroes Africa in their hands. It's a platform where you come and it's, not, like I tell them, when you share knowledge, your own share of it increases. Knowledge is the only asset whose value increases when you share. If you have money and share, I'll lose it. But
When
when I
you
share
share, people
knowledge,
ask you questions regarding certain things. Maybe you yourself didn't
correct.
understand it, where you have to go and learn more so that you can, then your knowledge grows as well. So that's right. That's right. That's actually right.
Yes, yes. So we let them know that they are the driving force. We let them know that they can scale it to wherever they want it to be. They can just hop in a Zoom call, Google Meet, and just start teaching and talking and
Yeah.
learning. If you want to learn cloud computing in Igbo or Swahili, Lamso, just get
Yeah.
in there and start talking cloud computing and and get
Oh,
going and
that's
learn.
great. That's great. Yeah, and as you're talking about that, and local languages, and which requires some local access to IT infrastructure and all that, and also maybe public services in the countries, whether it's in Ghana, whether it's in Zambia or South Africa or Cameroon, and all that. That leads me to another discussion point here, which is, how do you think that our governments back home can use the public school to begin the basics of information technology, teaching those and encouraging students? How do you think? Do you think that they are doing enough? Do you think that is something that they can do in order to build these foundations?
I think governments in African governments um, have to do better.
Yeah.
They are here in the curriculums in schools. There is ICT, but it's not. I've seen where they are teaching students. They are drawing. This is a laptop. This is a mouse. And you don't teach somebody. You don't draw a laptop. They have to be hands on. They have to. If I had my way, I will, and I could talk to people in power. I will tell them to invest in the youth. You cannot have a continent that has 60% of its population below 35, and you don't let them invest in tech.
Yeah.
That's the future. And you don't invest in tech. That is the future. They have to empower these young people so they can create companies at home. They can find solutions. They can build and have data companies, because everything is about data.
Yeah.
That which the government can use to make decisions. Look, like in Cameroon a few years ago, they spent $40,000 to buy to share laptops. I can guarantee you that those laptops none of them is left. They just shared. The president. I mean, it was a good initiative to give laptops to students, but in my opinion, it was poorly executed. If they had taken that money to invest in training, training every young people on tech skills, we will be the results will have been better. Some of them don't have those laptops. They even sold it because it was worth nothing.
Yeah,
They
I
spent
mean,
40 million.
I think what you're saying is correct. If you, and especially when you, if you share things like that to people who are not tech enthusiasts or who do not have the tech mindset and they don't need it, or they think that they don't need it, they have more pressing. And also we have to be realistic of or acceptance of what is going on, right? Which is some of our young people when they are in colleges, they are even finding it hard to make basic necessities, which is paying for their rent
Yeah,
and paying for their food. So you give them a laptop, probably they will say my phone can do what I want to do in terms of assignment, and they
of
probably
course.
sell it to pay for their basic life support, water, electricity, and probably their house rent.
Yep,
So
yep,
I
yep,
mean,
yep. Some of them sold. They sold their
yeah.
laptops.
So yeah,
It was like calculator. So if they had taken 40 million US dollars and invested in tech, train people, train them how to write Python, train them how to write code, how to do C sharp, the outcome will have been, long term and sustainable. You cannot
Or
just keep
probably
talking about
set up some tech hubs and centers that
some
is
tech
well
hubs.
monitored, where
Exactly.
people can come over there and use
Exactly.
the resources in. They have maybe have a lot of laptops, a lot of labs, computers that have high power, that
Yep,
have
yep.
high power and resources that, I mean, that could work where you can execute a lot of
Yeah.
things in that lab, and not just maybe you give someone a laptop that has 4 gig of memory. I don't know how
Yep.
far they can go with that in running things.
Yeah,
They can run
yeah.
a virtual machine on
And,
that.
and and government can do better. They can do better. They can hold these tech providers accountable and say, hey, we can give you a tax rebate or tax discount if you give students internet free of charge. If you let students have access to internet, of course, there's going to be some protocol around how they use it. But the government can say, "Hey, we're going to reduce your taxes if tech students or students in general who are who are learning tech can have internet for free because students have no income." The long-term results will be amazing.
Yeah,
It will add a lot of value. Like I have students who I have a student who's earning $6,000 based in Douala. That's money that comes to Cameroon every
yeah.
month. Remit in terms of remittances.
Wow,
Imagine we have
that's a lot of
2 million
money.
of those students receiving money from. That's a
Yeah,
long. That's a lot for the country.
contributes to the
So
economy of the
governments,
country. That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these are low hanging fruits. They can just you can just fix that. MTN, Orange, Glow, all of these internet providers in Africa give internet for students for free and get a 5% discount
That
this year.
solves one of their
Problem
problems.
solved.
That solves one of their
Yep.
problems when it comes to resources, right? Which was
Yep.
internet services, right? Yeah, and then moving forward, let's pivot back to something we started talking about, which is AI, right? We were talking about AI moving fast globally, and I mean everyone else is talking about AI. Everyone is talking about it. From your perspective, uh, this is this a good thing for African tech ecosystem, or could this actually hold the Africa back? Based on the fact that we are even still trying to even get ourselves more into technology and grow our tech space.
I was talking with someone the other day, and we're looking at the advances in AI, and we're saying there are some jobs that we might only have to find in Africa if we go back. Jobs are going to be automated. But that notwithstanding, the African youth is super smart and can get into the dance as soon as yesterday, so that they're not left behind. When every revolution comes with a price.
Of course, of course.
Do you know that when the industrial or the agricultural revolution, or let's say the industrial revolution happened and farm tractors were discovered, do you know that people were scared that they were going to lose jobs?
Of course,
These
and that's the
tractors,
same thing that's happening with AI right now, right?
AI.
It's a lot of
So,
panic about people losing their jobs, which is true. I think in some sectors, a lot of people are going to lose jobs, but I don't think it's all
yeah,
across the board, right?
AI is going to take jobs away from people who don't know how to use AI. As simple as that. AI is going to take away your job if you cannot learn how to use AI. Again, look at the example of look at when farm tractors were discovered. People who used to work, cultivate the crops, oh, they'll say, oh my God, this tractor is going to come and take away my job. I might not be able to dig. But the smart people, what do? They already know how to cultivate using their hands. They simply learn how to use the tractors, and they were fine. And those who did not learn lost their jobs. Just the same thing with concrete. You know, people used to hit concrete like this. When they discovered machines to crack the concrete, the people were like, "Oh my God, we're going to lose
our jobs are gone."
Our jobs are gone. So we have to learn how to adapt. We have to adapt and join the moving train.
Okay. Now, thank you for that, and thank you for that. That's really important. So, adaptation is an important thing, and we touched on this earlier. Adaptation is a very important thing when it comes to information technology, and that's why we talked about when you learn, you have to keep improving your knowledge. You have to keep coming back, because technology is something that changes like every day. You know, what you learn, the thing you learn how to do today may necessarily not be the same way you're going to do that tomorrow to achieve the same outcome, right? So it's important for them to keep learning. AI is another facet that has come to the technology world. So it's but normal that we have to, even the people that have jobs in the Western world, I believe that they are also going to have to see how they can use AI to do some parts of their job in order to be relevant in the field, right? Yeah, right. And then that makes me to move to another discussion point here, which is about, we understand that when it comes to information technology, degrees are important. They are really important, but sometimes tech companies and employers also look for certification, because you then have to keep those certifications alive by doing your continuous education courses to stay in compliance with your certificate, to keep it so that they know that you're staying relevant, right? So what are some of the certifications that you are prioritizing, or that our African youths or tech talents in Africa can prioritize to make their journey to getting into information technology and cloud computing in particular easier?
So I would highly recommend that if they can go to school, if for those who are tech enthusiasts, they can go to school and get a bachelor's degree in. I mean, it's still very relevant. Let no one fool you. That I mean, some people can have their advanced levels and just start learning how to code, but then when you come to expressing yourself, there are certain skills that you might not have. So I would recommend that while they go to school, they get their hands dirty, they have their bachelor's degrees. That way, they can, when they get jobs, they can be able to climb on the rungs of the corporate ladder. But at the end of the day, what matters will be, what can you do? What can you do? But then the education is super important as well, so they can be able to communicate. I have had friends who write code. I have had friends who do not go to university. They're doing good, but when it comes to presentation, when it comes to speaking in public, when it comes to networking, they still have so much work to do, you know. So I will encourage students to, and go to school, learn this, be very, very. I'm a big fan of self branding. Like, brand yourself. If you're into tech, you should not lack LinkedIn. You should not lack GitHub. You should not lack Medium. You should be documenting what you're writing, what you're doing, what you're building.
Documentation is important.
That way, by the time you graduate, somebody will look at your link. I am into tech, and my two kids, my 14-year-old and my 11-year-old, they have LinkedIn. Am I pushing them to do tech? Definitely, that would be my wish. But I will not have them. I mean, but they're 14. My 13-year-old, my 13-year-old had LinkedIn when he was 10.
Yeah, that's nice.
And he would just go write something, and he's
so
building.
when he does something, a project, he goes and write what he has done.
Yep. I was teaching him how to write basic SQL, creating tables, writing select scripts, and he would go and write it there.
That's interesting.
My last son is he's on LinkedIn. I want that when a recruiter sees him within the next 15 years, they'll say, hey, this guy already knows. And he knows that he has to market himself, because we're in a very competitive world.
Of course.
And remote work has not made it easy. You have to be the best.
Of course.
Like I tell my students, what is your key distinctive competence? You're going to be competing with people from Singapore. You're going to, because of
From
remote work.
India,
So
from
you have to be the
yeah,
best. You have to sell
yeah.
yourself. If you don't sell yourself, nobody will buy
Yeah,
you.
and you are right in terms of competition for to get jobs and all that, right? I always tell people, like, when you see a job and you submit a job application, you cannot only think that is 10 people submitting an application for the same job. The
Yeah,
HR is probably having 300, 400, 500 resumes for one particular job.
yeah,
So for
yeah.
you to get that job, you need to sell yourself very well, right? And
Yep.
be able to talk about the things that you have done, what you have
Yeah.
learned, and what you have implemented, and how you have done the projects that you have done in the past in order to get a chance to landing that job. So, and
Correct.
that's why when
Correct.
you said that, you also, Cloud Heroes Africa also gives students the opportunities to come and do like more prep for interviews and how to talk about
Yep.
their projects.
Very
that's
important.
that's that's really an important step in getting a job, right? So let's keep going here a little bit. What would be your advice to young Africans who wants to start a cloud career?
My first advice would be for them to believe in themselves, believe that they're the best, believe that they can do it. They should not feel, they should not have a complex. Like in the past, it's been like there's people from Asia that are tech experts. No, when you look at, if for those of us who come from Cameroon, when you look at these our guys who used to have 25 points, and they end up being they end up becoming student math teachers or going to ENS to teach chemistry. Those guys, these are guys who can get into data and do complex modeling, do quantum. These are smart guys. So I would tell them to believe in themselves. I would tell them to dare. They have to dare. They have to know that African youths are unbreakable. Just by the virtue of the fact that we are African youths, we've gone through a lot, and they can rise, and they can compete with students all over the
Yeah.
world. They should take advantage of the internet. Take advantage of the internet, and for those who want to get into cloud computing, there is free resources. Again, we know that internet is access to internet is a
And of
challenge.
course, Cloud
You
Heroes
know,
Africa is there to help, of
we're
course.
here. We're here for
Right?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what are some of the mistakes that you would tell them to make sure they avoid?
Going in for money.
Yeah. You have to go in for the
You know,
passion. Huh?
for the passion. When you get in for the money and then you start hitting interviews and not getting it, you might give up.
Okay.
When you have a passion for it,
You keep going.
when you have a passion for it, the job will
Yeah.
come.
And
Staying focused, don't letting your eyes off the ball. You're staying concentrated, doing the right things, building your skill set. Again, LinkedIn,
it's an
again
important
using
platform.
platforms like that, yeah, to show what you can do. Telling recruiters that you are different. Telling the recruiter that although I am in Enugu, I'm in Johannesburg, I can do this job. I can
Yeah.
do it. I have what it takes to do it. If you doubt, just go to my GitHub and look at the projects I've built.
Yeah.
If you doubt, look at LinkedIn and see, because I tell my students, you have to be out there. You have to write on LinkedIn at least 3 times a week. Build something. Be part of the
Yeah.
conversation. If you're
Stay
into cloud
relevant.
computing, yeah, stay relevant. Write something. Go write. Look at a diagram and write. For instance, this is the African Cup of Nations. If you're into cybersecurity, go write something about cybersecurity in relation with the African Cup of Nations. What are so you have to let them know that you're a subject matter expert. You have to be different. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. And that's absolutely amazing, right? So you guys can hear, guys. So giving up is not an option when you start this journey. You have to be passionate about it, right? Yeah. All right. Let's move. Let's change gear here and let's move back to Cloud Heroes Africa here. What is next for you? Any new programs, any new partnership that's coming up? What's coming up? What's new? What's next?
Oh, thank you so much for that. As like I said, we just got our 501c status, and we already have people that are reaching out to us and asking how they can help. Our goal is to build a center. Our goal is to build a center in one of our countries where we have so many students, where students can just come and learn. They don't need to come with anything. Just come in there. They have access to a laptop. They have access to the internet, and then just sit and learn. So that's our goal. We have our 501c already, and we are reaching out to people of goodwill, people who have a passion for Africa. If you can donate a laptop, can donate 2 laptops. You know, these laptops that after 3 years companies do not need. We need such so that we can put in that center and build talent and build young people. So we're excited about the future. We're excited about the fact that we want to put our students at the helm of projects. You know, let them be the ones who lead these initiatives, and we can guide them from.
Yeah, and just for people who do not know, right? When he talks about a 501c here, for people who live in the United States, this is a non-for-profit organization whereby you can now donate. If you are passionate, if you want to help these young people, you can donate to this organization, and you can get a tax write-off on what you donated if you choose to do that. So if you can contact and make your donations if you want to, right? And then moving on, yeah, no worries. And then moving on from there, how I started talking about it, but how can the community support you and your mission? How can they get involved?
First thing is, for those who have time, they can donate their time. They can donate some of their, like an hour or two. If you're in tech, you're a cybersecurity expert, you are a cloud guru, you are a cloud engineer, you're a database admin, you can come a solutions architect. You first and foremost, you just donate 1 hour to just, and you find it very fulfilling. Trust me, when you interact with these students and hear some of their ideas and hear some of the projects they are building, you'll be like, wow, I need to come more often.
Yeah.
So if people are out there, if you don't have any financial resources to give us, donate your time. Remember I said the easiest thing to give someone in Africa is money. Right. You give them money and you walk away. But dedicating 1 hour a month, 2 hours a month is very important. You help to build talent, you help to build people, and the cycle continues.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's important. And so for young people, right, who are interested in tech and who wants to join this, interested in Cloud Heroes Africa, how can they get a hold of you? How can they get to you and enroll?
They can go to our website. Yeah, they can go to our website, www.cloudheroesafrica.com. I will share the link with you. And we're looking for young people who don't know anything in IT, who just bring in their passion, who just bring in their energy, want them to come, learn, and teach other people.
That's interesting. Yeah. So when they come to you, like, for example, where can they find you? Where can our viewers or our listeners, where can they follow you and follow your work? They say any social media platforms and handles?
Social media, we're on LinkedIn and Facebook. Okay. And then on our website, if they click on the contact page, they write to us, someone will reach out to them and add them to our platform. We are on Discord as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samoa. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your work is opening a lot of doors for our young African talents, and we truly appreciate and commend what you and your organization are doing. Feel free to come back. Especially when you have new projects and you have new things going on, and we'll be more than happy to share with the world and share with our community and our audience, and let's move Africa forward in terms of technology.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for having me. I really appreciate the work you are doing. I think there's so much that still has to be done. I believe in young people in Africa.
Of course.
I believe in the power of the African youth. I believe that they can change, and we just want that the word can go out. And if you have a minute or two or an hour to give back to training people in Africa, do not hesitate. Just go back. You don't have to necessarily come to Cloud Heroes Africa. You can pick up a kid, and and Africa needs us.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And to everyone watching us and listening to us, thank you again for being a part of SecureAfric community. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like and subscribe button below and share this so that every other person can also listen to it and gain this knowledge. Maybe you have somebody that wants to get into tech. They can also be part of Cloud Heroes and they can learn from there. And also don't forget to click the notification bell so that each time we upload an episode, episode, you should be notified. And drop your thoughts in the comment section, and we are going to be reading so that we can also improve. And thank you very much for joining SecureAfric, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.